The absolute perfect encapsulation of how insane Canada has become is that one of our major universities, Concordia University, had to shut down for the day because somebody showed up with an incendiary device. Somebody showed up, 2 people wearing keffiyehs showed up with an incendiary device. This happened this morning. The only reason I or anybody are aware of it is because of X. CBC, CTV, Global have deemed it's not a large enough news story that a major university in Canada has been shut down due to incendiary devices on campus by Muslim extremists. This has to stop. This has to stop. You ask yourself, how could the Liberal Party of Canada possibly have been re-elected after 10 years of absolute disaster? Housing prices exploding like no other. 70,000 Canadians dying unnecessarily a year because our healthcare system is totally overrun. 2 million Canadians using food banks. Crack users all over the place due to safe supply laws. 8 million immigrants to the country, many of whom are incredibly anti-Western in under a decade. You want to know how this could possibly happen? Nothing better illustrates it than today. A major university has a bomb threat, and our propagandistic news media do not deem it to be a large enough story to feature anywhere on the website. The CBC's website right now has a quote from LeBron James, a story on squirrels in people's gardens, over a major Canadian university being shut down due to Islamic extremists. Look no further as to why Canada is in the horrific situation it's in right now than this story refusing to be covered. CBC, the disgusting propaganda outlet. CBC makes me want to throw up. They receive $1.5 billion a year from the Canadian taxpayer. $1.5 billion a year. And what do? Toe the Liberal line on every story. You will not find one negative story about how immigration has devastated Canada's economy on the CBC. You'll see over 500 stories painting the Palestinians in a sympathetic light. Not a single story on Christians in Nigeria being slaughtered by Muslims. Not a single story painting how many of these so-called pro-Palestine supporters are actually anti-West Islamic extremists who want to tear this country down. None of that is reported. It is more extreme than Mao's China, than Soviet propaganda. Canadians are being spoon-fed total BS from our news media, and the worst thing is we're paying for it. How can you possibly justify forking over $1.5 billion a year when the Liberals have run up a $62 billion deficit? There are rumors that on November 4th, when the next budget is released, the deficit is going to balloon to $100 billion. We've given hundreds of millions of dollars to Hamas, a terrorist organization. We've given $22 billion to Ukraine. We have a traitorous, treasonous government that actively despises the Canadian people, and the reason they can maintain their power when they sell us out at every single opportunity is because of days like today, when major Canadian universities are literally getting evacuated and shut down, and you do not hear a peep about it. It's disgusting, it's pathetic, and the CBC should not be receiving 1 red cent from the Canadian tax dollar. They are not a news organization. Nobody can objectively tell me with a straight face that a Canadian university getting evacuated due to bomb threats is not a newsworthy story, yet they refuse to cover it to tell us about squirrels because it may put them in a negative light. The fact that they've been telling you, oh, these are simply peaceful protests. They just want what's best for the Palestinian people. Total BS. These are anti-Western submersives, many of them radical jihadists who will cheer on Sharia law. You want Sharia law? Go live in one of the 56 goddamn Islamic countries, Muslim majority countries, and you woke morons Why don't you go live in Saudi Arabia, go live in Iraq, go live in Iran, and report back to me on how fantastic it is? If you hate Canada so much, if Canada is such a colonizer and you're so hard done by, go live in one of these Muslim majority countries. Stop ruining the country for the rest of us. Universities getting shut down, hate mobs every single day. I am absolutely certain, I hope it thunderstorms, but you can guarantee tonight is going to be an absolute hate fest on Canadian streets. And I can also definitively tell you the CBC, CTV Global News will lie to you and talk about, oh, the peaceful freedom warriors, the peaceful protesters who just want to free the Palestinian people. They won't mention that a peace offering has already been made with Hamas and all likelihood is going to shut down. And even if a peace offering is agreed, Palestine is just a cover. These are anti-Western forces. Open your eyes up. These are radical jihadists who want to bring Sharia law to our countries. And once they hit a certain precipice, we've swung the gates wide open and said, come on in. Once they hit a certain precipice, once they hit to eat 10% of the population, Scott Adams has some great articles on this, but once they hit 10% of the population, we are done for in Canada. We are absolutely done for. We've swung the floodgates wide open and said, come on in. Our moronic woke ideologues who they think they're supporting gays. You absolute moron. If a man is caught sleeping with another man in Palestine, they are sentenced to a minimum 10 years in prison, in many cases thrown off bridges. Women are not allowed to leave their houses without a male accompaniment. If you blaspheme against Allah, you are sentenced to a minimum 10 years in prison, and in many cases killed. These people are supporting Muslim, theocratic, totalitarian societies that are the polar opposite of our Canadian values. And the useful idiots in Canada, the useful morons, are going to be the ones who ultimately bring about our demise. The ones who cheer on the pathetic feminists wearing their keffiyehs. Hey, if you want to support someone, you feminist morons, go to Saudi Arabia, go to Iraq, and tell me as a woman how exactly it is that you're treated there. It's these people's brains have fallen out of their head. And you speak to people from Iran, from Iraq, from Saudi Arabia, and they tell you these people have lost their minds. They've fled these countries because you do not want to live in a Muslim theocracy. There's nowhere worse in the world to be, and now we are inviting them in and cheering it on. And Canadian universities are getting shut down due to extremists with incendiary devices. This is unthinkable 10 years ago. Look at what Canada has become due to our literal communists in our government who betray us. It's disgusting, it's despicable, and we need to put an end to it. Please like, share, subscribe to the channel, join, become a member if you'd like to support. Really appreciate it. Grab some Fight for Canada gear. Helps get the message out, and I really appreciate it. If you're watching on TikTok, make sure you're following YouTube, youtube.com/@FightForCanada. And remember, the Canadian media doesn't think it's appropriate to report on Canadian universities evacuating due to bomb threats. According to the CBC, that's not newsworthy.